Big shout out to all my real ones. I just wanted to log in live. We live in the studio, baby. Beautiful morning. The song Miracles is out now. But I just wanted to address a couple things on Facebook, right? So, we live in America. That's a beautiful thing and that's a blessing. The government gives us a lot of opportunities to work with, including all the social platforms, including helping us with finances at times, including EBT, SNAP, and cash payments, including different things for kids, even different alternatives for women to help them with their kids. So the government provides a lot of opportunities, even housing for individuals, right? Housing for even women. They do help men as well. But the thing about it is, if you have a lot of kids, right, you get a lot more help. So if you're a woman with a lot of kids, you get more help than a dude. And a lot of times, then there's single women with a lot of kids that get more help. A lot of time, this is intentional, right? Because if you have kids and you get more help, then it's easier. It's just real life. I get EBT SNAP too, right? About a few hundred, like $200 every month. Here's the thing with that though. A lot of individuals, right? They get more than $200 for food every month and they have kids and they don't have any relationship or anything. So I'm a single guy, right? But here's the thing, besides that, I'm one of the biggest on all the platforms, including Facebook with a verified account. I was getting paid more than that on Instagram than a lot of individuals to help me survive. So many months on Instagram, I was getting enough to, almost help me pay my bills and help me do other things. This is a form of work, right? A lot of these platforms then partner with the government, including like Facebook. Once you're that big, you kind of then have a lot of governmental connection. But once your Instagram so if your Facebook is not working like how it should pay out and it's compromised, right? Because you would have the correct amount of payouts if you're hitting an amount of reach, and it would be compounding. So this is all proof and documentation. So then his Instagram got compromised, which would have helped a lot due to the amount of work that he did. People in life already talking about money. So if you went to work to get your paycheck and then you just didn't get it, or if you went to get your EBT money and you had 3 kids and then you didn't get it. So imagine you don't have kids, right? This is not anything against both opposite sex or anything. This is just somebody who doesn't have kids, who's just putting in work and then has their Instagram compromised, that would have been helping fund him, say, if he wanted a family or not to have a family. It's somebody who already worked, who went to college, who worked in different sectors. So then to see one of your accounts get compromised, especially with a password loop on the development back end, the developer who would be able to fix the back end, right? So then this is a compromisation, especially when Instagram says compromised. So once your Instagram gets compromised or hacked, and then you have said such individuals all speaking on top of your Facebook page, which is verified, this is all proof, documentation, due diligence, and research of all the people who then either say something smart or say something smart that is actually stupidity in a sarcastic way, right? So if you are just out of nowhere trying to fix your Instagram account that could help feed you, right? You're just a single guy. You already love girls across the globe. You love R&B girls. You love pretty women, right? You love women. But say you're a single guy that loves women, right? And you also started helping people, which were women, with food. So if you were helping women with food, with producing them, even going flights, doing flights and all of that, right? And your Instagram was helping all of that, this would be proof and research that your finances were interfered with. So, yes, platforms exist and the internet exists, but when you use these platforms, many people on the internet that everybody tune in every day and watch, they retired on these platforms. Every person that bump around riding to trap music, that gotta follow your best YouTuber that has 10 million subscribers or whatever, they all got paid. So then once I start seeing people on my account, right, and people show up to my house, so this is one of the things we got. We said a lot of proof of documentation. So not only did we say it on camera, we also said it in writing, right? So we said in writing all on our page and in documentation and even in blog what have happened and what had happened and what currently is. So then we get a lot of smart comments. Shout out to my real ones, but we got a lot of smart comments, right? We get, are you good? You're just mumbling a bunch of nonsense. Here's the only thing. If you cannot feed your kids, right? If you cannot feed your kids, is that nonsense? That's absolutely not nonsense in America. So I have a comment saying that I'm rambling. The story that was on the comment, right? So they posted a comment on the story. That story was describing how 4 officers went to my house. So 4 officers went to my house and they created obstruction, which is financial interference. This is not nonsense or rambling, especially when one of your platforms that was helping feed people, including women, including your own mom, once that gets compromised and I cannot do certain things, that's not rambling or nonsense, especially when you list every detail and account that could have been the reason why it was compromised with the individuals who could have been possibly people involved. So I was saying that police came to my door, but policing is a form of security. But then when you know security that have to watch the police, now you have security watching police and policing who is security also watching security. This is a form of interference, especially financial interference. If they then cross your path, why would the police or security have to cross my path without paying me first or fixing the compromisation of my account? If it's police who are a form of security and security who secure, how could my account be compromised, which it would be police and security and government, also the developers on the back end of Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram. The developers, including the police and the security, so police who are able to be security and security who are able to, watch over other things. How would then my account be compromised? But people say that it's rambling and nonsense when I'm listing everything, including the officers that went to my house or the department. Because if I'm minding my own business, right, paying my mom's rent and also helping women, right, if I'm helping beautiful R&B women that even have kids. How on earth would somebody with kids say that is rambling when everybody is in need of money and the government helps a lot of women with money? Only thing is, then why would the police go to my door if I don't have kids and I'm helping retire my mom? And I was doing that with using platforms, using media, also being in retirement already, retired. How on earth could that ever happen and then be called nonsense when I did my due diligence, my research, and I also put it in professional form and show it all on a public platform, which I have more posts than Mark Zuckerberg. So not only was my Instagram compromised, I have a professional Meta page, Facebook, that has more posts than Mark Zuckerberg, but is not funding even the amount from the compromised Instagram page, which was making more on Instagram than it is on Facebook. And I had less posts on Instagram that was making more than a lot of time EBT money. So if I had a post or a platform, so it's not a post, it's a platform. This is where it's hard to sometimes understand between everything, right? So first thing, if I'm minding my own business and I'm just using platforms, police shouldn't go to your house and then cause obstruction and torturous interference to your finances or your financial well-being. That's the first thing that should never happen to a single guy that's helping take care of his mom and his sister and his nephew. So if he's over here funding money to take care of his mom, sister, and nephew, right? So his mom, his sister, and his nephew, if he's using platforms and doing business to help fund them, how could that ever be called if my account is compromised and then all said such individuals who would most likely have to pay me money, especially the police, going to my mom's door while I'm taking care of my mom, my sister, and my nephew? How would that ever be considered rambling or nonsense? Especially if the platforms were helping him take care of his mom and his sister and his nephew, including other women that he loved. How would that ever be nonsense or rambling, or people from church and other things and even connected to the police start posting anything that doesn't make sense, besides the fact that this would be one of the biggest court cases and documented proof on a platform that shows everything that happened, while people just avoid and just type anything on there that doesn't then help the actual proof of documentation given. Although everybody right now is talking about, I need money for my kids, I need more money, I need more cash, I'm looking for job opportunities, I'm looking for work, the cost of living is more than what the job is giving me, there's no housing, so I gotta move mainland. How on earth would somebody ever say that's nonsense if the platforms could help balance that out? Especially one of the biggest public figures on these platforms, including Instagram, and then have it get compromised and then have monetization issues that would have fixed all of those things. Especially if the government wasn't fixing that for a lot of even women who have kids. It doesn't make sense. But that's why I had to drop this video. Because I was just at home minding my own business, and then I see my money not working the same way, compromisation issues, and everybody who he knew, they did something else and went to other people, which would be what? That would be accomplices on one of the reasons why I'm having compromisation issues, especially if the police go to his house, to his mom's house, when he's taking care of his mom, sister, and nephew, and they're not bringing his paycheck or his money to him, or fixing the issue, which is policing, who are a form of security, and security who could then inform police, but they're watching me on cameras and video and audio, but then they're not fixing those issues. That wouldn't make sense if I'm out here making money in Wall Street after I'm retired, that also worked with different corporations on Wall Street. This wouldn't be considered nonsense or rambling when I'm showing proof of documents and research and due diligence is even on a blog, all on Facebook. Then you could go onto my Instagram and see how long I didn't use it for between posts, because I would have to use Meta backend which is connected to Facebook, that wouldn't allow me to get into Instagram regular. So I cannot get into Instagram regular. Then I would have to use another app with Facebook connected to Meta to then notify people on my Instagram that I'm not able to check it or use it. So then I would go here, right? I would go to Instagram on this phone, and then I would show it live. So then look, boom, compromisation issues. It's gonna tell me change my password. Only thing is, on the development end, right, the back end of this, which is a developer, once I change it, it won't log in, and there's a consistent loop. So there's a developer loop that keeps showing me my account is compromised, which would sometimes be feeding me more than people who get paid by the government on EBT. But then most of America gets paid on government and EBT, especially single women, which is nothing to do with a dude, right? Which is a regular single guy that's not in a relationship. So a single guy that's then having a platform connected to the government help feed his mom, his sister, his nephew, including other women. Once that goes compromised, right, and you have more Facebook posts than Mark Zuckerberg, which is 12,000 Facebook posts, which is why he showed the documentation and the proof on his Facebook. This is not a ramble. It's not considered nonsense. And then you wouldn't have 4 to 5 police not only try to arrest you previously, then show up at your mom's house and place of living, while not fixing your money and your finances, including the Instagram. You would be able to go to Instagram and Mark Zuckerberg. You would be able to get all the money that's owed to him, including making him rich, including making him enough more money that the police wouldn't have to go to your house and tortuously interfere the money that you would already be making. So you would already be making money off of Instagram. It sounds crazy, and it sounds like that. But then if you were making money, the police wouldn't go to your house. And then if you were making money, right, which is on Instagram, once your account gets compromised, they wouldn't not help you then fix that. Especially if you're taking care of your mom, your sister, your nephew, and you're in Hawaii. If you're in Hawaii, Maui, and your Instagram account was helping pay the rent, and then you have police send you restraining orders that then interfere with the money you're making, including using photos on Facebook and Instagram, that would never happen. And that would be one of the biggest court cases that would already go up the chain in government, and that would already be solved, especially if the police and the security knew about it already. That's why I had to jump on and show you that my Instagram was compromised. And then when somebody is saying, "Are you good?" you're just rambling a bunch of nonsense. That's the exact story that I would have had to jump on video and actually explain. It wouldn't matter what kind of clothing I'm wearing, or if I'm not wearing a t-shirt, or if I'm wearing a business suit, or if I'm wearing jewelry that's worth more than that. Even Apple Watches while in the studio. That wouldn't be considered nonsense or rambling, or even have people in church going on my page, or the people in police going on my page and saying this is nonsense, when they're actually on video camera, which is on their body cams and on housing cameras, going to my house to create to my mom's house to create a torturous interference if I'm taking care of my mom, sister, and nephew by being the oldest son holding it down that doesn't have kids right now. So imagine I just wanted to be disciplined and work on business. So I didn't just go sleep with everybody right now. And then go sleep with everybody so that they actually need EBT and government funding. So I was giving people money before I had kids to have to pay people money for the kids. So this is all backwards. So somebody who's disciplined enough to make money in business, right? And to work for different corporations and to even fund women to learn business, wouldn't then have other women calling it nonsense, or have men that's the police show up at his doorstep? Especially if he's transparent about his finances, the businesses that he owns, and is connected to the United States and Hawaii. None of that would make sense. And the security and the policing who act as security, they would have fixed this immediately, especially if in good faith he was trying to make more money before he have kids. So a lot of people, they have kids before they know how to make money. Then they gotta be on every government program, even while working, right? So then now you have kids, you're getting EBT, you're getting SNAP, you're getting SNAP Cash, you're getting WIC, which is for women, right? It's not for men. Then you getting help with all the food, you're getting help with all of this. So somebody who is helping women already, right, with money and finances, by doing it professionally in front of the world, would never have somebody else then write, shout out to everybody, because I know everybody, and it's loyalty and respect. But then the police and security wouldn't then go to my house while my girlfriend is missing. So if one of my girlfriends is missing and they actually owed me money too, because I didn't have kids before I knew how to make money. Everybody have kids before they know how to make money. They go to high school with their kids. They don't know how to make money. Then they're on EBT and government assistance, and they call it welfare, and they're scared of it. So this is somebody who wasn't on welfare, who make money, even business, that then gotta go on to EBT. So this is somebody who do enough business in a community that even work with different corporations on Wall Street, even working on Wall Street, right? Then to have somebody say that has a kid while he made more money than even to have jewelry on him, to be in a studio. This is let alone I just dropped 70 records. So if I just dropped 70 records, right, where I gotta sing and produce on it, this could never be called rambling once I show documentation of proof. And I also show the writing of why this is photo documentation and writing, and then show a compromised account enough for me to have to then go on to EBT, just like a lot of women with kids, but then aren't making enough money or having the help, so they become single and then try to make money off of government. This is somebody who was helping them. It's a single man in America that didn't do certain things, which was only discipline enough to be covered in ice, and show you that he has one of the biggest YouTube channels, a bigger Facebook than Mark Zuckerberg, and is on Google, that's also certified by Google and work with Wall Street, bro. So that's not a ramble. That's not nonsense. While I'm showing proof on Facebook, and I also show that I have a compromised account while I'm on one iPhone and showing it on another Apple iPhone with an Apple Watch, wearing True Religion sunglasses with Coconut Kingdom family product on him. I don't understand how on earth that this doesn't go straight to the president, straight to Congress, and straight to getting me all my back pay, even for 15 years, while I see all the stupid comments that would lead to compromisation and also security threats and issues, due to knowing that I also went to Google to be certified to know that there's security threats and issues. That's crazy. And that's a threat to my own security, even my mom and my sister and my nephew. Let alone even if I was in a relationship with another woman. So how would you put a threat to my mom, my sister, and my nephew, and I'm not even in a relationship with another woman, and then one of the girls who owes me money then goes missing and is cheating with different people? That's not nonsense or rambling, especially to all the women in America with kids or with a relationship, or that needed funding from the government. That's help, welfare, SNAP cash, or any child care assistance, or even child care or daycare. Especially if they live with their grandma them or don't have money. And I was helping fund them as Joshua Elijah Ford, that's stayed disciplined to not do that and compromise or go behind other people's backs, which would then lead to security threats and different issues. Especially if I'm hitting 300,000 views on Facebook alone. That's not all the other platforms, including a compromised Instagram. That's only on viewership on Facebook.